My husband, let's call him James, 26M, and I, 26F, have been together since our early teens, and we got married last year and have a 6-month-old daughter together. She is the light of both our lives as we both came from broken homes and are trying to live a better life than we grew up in. My best friend, let's call her Carla, 23F, came into the picture a few years later. We used to live in the same neighborhood and casually started to hang out together. She lives with both her parents and siblings as she is studying to get her bachelor's degree. At first, she didn't like James. She said that he was clingy and tried to insert himself into our friendship too much. Well, he is my husband, so I would hope that he wanted to be friends with my friends. Anyway, she was civil to him despite how he acted because he was my romantic partner. For context, James is on the spectrum, has BP type 2 and PTSD, and it causes him to be a little socially awkward and miss certain social cues and taboos. I love him regardless of it all. Over the last few years, we have been hanging out a lot more. She comes over for a few drinks, we go to movies, and even visit local attractions together. We all three have a good time, and my husband does try to make nights for just the two of us often too. However, last year James and I found out we were expecting a child together in January. At the time, I was working at a fast food place and started to feel nauseous. I threw up and immediately went to the doctor. Come to find out, I was 8.5 weeks pregnant. My life changed, and I had become busier preparing for motherhood. Carla saw me less and less, and we couldn't talk as much. James and I got married almost a month and a half after discovering we were going to become parents. That's when our dynamic changed. Lately, I've been trying my best to juggle being a stay-at-home mom while taking online courses for college, so I've been super busy. One day, James gets a text, and it's from Carla. She asks if they can talk, as she was upset. He took the phone call despite me protesting, and a few minutes later said, "Hey, we need to go get Carla. Her father is picking a fight with her." I got upset as we were watching a movie together, and I had just gotten the baby down for bed. We go to her house, which is about 20 minutes away, and she stays with us for a night. As I get our daughter back down to bed, Carla asks to cuddle with the two of us in our bed. I was hesitant. I have issues with claustrophobia due to a traumatic experience as a child, but James gave the go-ahead, and we settled in for the night. Carla's dad called to apologize, and she went back home. Once she was gone, I blew up at James. What he did was not only inappropriate but also disrespectful to my boundaries. Ever since, when she has an issue with her dad, she calls James and vents. One day, while my in-laws were staying with us, my mother-in-law overheard a conversation with James and Carla. She was concerned and asked me if I was okay with it. I said, no, not really, but every time I bring it up, he gets defensive, saying that she needs help, that she is going through a hard time, blah blah blah. It is important to note that my mother-in-law was cheated on in the past by her ex, my husband's father. We are also extremely close, and she sees me as a daughter. She hates cheaters with a passion, and my husband was using the same excuses his father did. She asked to speak to him privately and walked to our living room. They got into a heated argument, and James apologized to me. He said he didn't know that it was hurting me and causing issues in our marriage. I asked him, how would he feel if I had asked him if another man could sleep in the bed with us? He kind of deflated and tried to say, it's different, blah blah blah. His stepfather spoke up and said, it is the same, you're uncomfortable with it and so is she, so quit with the excuses. James respects his stepfather quite a lot since he raised him since he was 8, and his own father was in and out of the picture. Once the dust settled, my husband truly apologized to me for his actions and said that he would do better. I kissed him, and that was that. However, I wouldn't be right here if that was the end of the issues. Lately, Carla has been calling him 3 to 8 times a day. She says it's because she is bored and has no one else to talk to. I snapped, and I called him out over the nonchalance about the situation, how when she calls, he answers, how it is making me feel like a third wheel in my marriage, etc. He just says, she's just lonely. You're letting it get to you. That night, I slept in the living room. I'm starting to suspect that she is trying to monopolize his time. She calls him for over an hour each time she calls, they talk, she complains about her life, etc., almost like she is his girlfriend or something. I'm starting to find this relationship troubling, and it's getting to the point that it is affecting my marriage. Where do I go from here? Update 1. So, some things have happened, and everything about this situation sucks. I don't know if I will be okay for some time, but the baby and I are currently staying with my friend. To start, James and I are getting a divorce, and Carla is no longer a friend to me or our mutuals. The betrayal is too deep for her to be friends with our group. As most of you assumed, James and Carla are indeed having an affair. It started about 3 months ago and just turned physical last month. They were planning on just up and leaving after James served me divorce papers. They used the ruse that he was helping her through emotional issues to hide the fact. I was crushed. She wanted to clear the air before it got worse, and that was when she let wind that James was going to try to get me to terminate my rights to my child in order for Carla to adopt her. Their reasoning is because of my borderline diagnosis a few years ago that supposedly makes me unfit to be a mother, and he was sure that the courts would agree. She then handed me 2 separate stacks of paperwork and left. I am contacting a lawyer as I am writing this. I am seriously hurt. You guys were right. Carla was a snake and only told me this so she wouldn't feel guilty. However, I am not letting my soon-to-be ex-husband bully me into termination of my rights. I called him afterward and got very heated about what was going on. James just sat there in silence. I was crying afterward, and I pleaded with him to tell me what I did wrong. He said I wasn't putting out like a good wife should, and I wasn't able to give him a big family, so it's all my fault. For context, I had a near-fatal complication with the delivery of our daughter, where I bled throughout the entire labor. I had to have 2 blood transfusions and haven't fully recovered from it. I was not cleared for any strenuous activity for 3 months, including bedroom intimacy. James was getting unsatisfied with all my doctor's appointments and not getting the bedroom fun that he wanted. Meanwhile, I was hurting and ended up needing another procedure to remove some placenta that didn't naturally come out. I even had to have my tubes tied because if I have another child, I won't make it. James wanted at least 2 more kids, so this put an end to his plans. I thought I knew him, but he's a complete monster. We were together since we were 15, and this is how he repays me. I am absolutely heartbroken. I'm going to step back and take some time to adjust. There is no chance for a healthy co-parenting situation. I'm fighting for primary custody with supervised visits. Carla will not have any access to the baby, as I will ask the judge to make a clause preventing her from interacting with my daughter. Thank you everyone for the advice. Edit. I spoke to a lawyer who is helping me at a reduced rate, and my in-laws are helping me foot the cost of a lawyer against their wayward son. With all the info that I have, including some threatening texts from Carla and James, I have decided to file for a protection order. They were even stupid enough to send me a text that pretty much confirmed the blackmail. I intend to use this to my advantage in the upcoming divorce proceedings as evidence of emotional abuse. James has continued to maintain that I need to terminate my rights to our daughter and that she'll have a better life with Carla, but I shut that crap down. I go to court Friday for our divorce proceedings. We have a mediator that my lawyer is speaking to directly for me so I don't have to deal with James's bully tactics. Update 2. Hello guys, it's been a while, and I have some news. Firstly, I got full custody of my daughter with supervised visitation from my ex. His own words came back to haunt him. I had proof of all his threats and the blackmail of him trying to get me to sign away my rights, and the judge wasn't happy. He tore into James and Carla about their behavior and how they tried to blackmail me, and he expressed how lucky they were that I didn't press charges for extortion. Because of their bad behavior, he told them that he couldn't in good conscience grant shared custody due to the evidence of their behavior towards me. He was also concerned that they would try to run off with her. Next, because of all the behavior and aggression towards me that was unwarranted, my protection order was granted. My mother-in-law, who stayed beside me in court, volunteered to facilitate the supervised visits until my divorce becomes final. If Carla and James try to contact me again, unless it is strictly about our daughter, then both will go to jail. James has to pay me child support, and of course, he tried to protest it, but it wasn't happening. Lastly, after court, James said something that kind of broke my heart about our daughter. If he can't have primary custody, then he is going to petition to terminate his rights. He doesn't want to be tied to me anymore and is willing to let my daughter suffer for it. So my daughter pretty much just lost her father because he would rather break away from me and pretend that I don't exist. I have some additional information from Carla that she said to me afterwards. Apparently, she is infertile due to an illness she suffered from as a teenager. She wanted a baby so badly and to get me out of the picture so that they could play happy family with my daughter. I was stunned. She then asked me if I was happy for tearing their family apart. I had to look at her for a second. She's the homewrecker, not me. I wanted to slap her so badly. Because of her, my daughter is probably going to lose her father. That's all that I have for you. My next update will probably be when the divorce finally happens. Update 3. The court was on Friday, and I was waiting for the dust to settle before posting again, but my soon-to-be ex-husband was recently hospitalized. Carla called me this morning, crying, despite the court order. James tried to commit suicide this morning and she found him just in time. He's in the hospital now, and the doctors don't know how long he will be there, but I will keep my hopes up for a speedy recovery. Despite the literal hell he has put me through, he is still the father of my daughter. I'm not pressing charges this time against Carla because it was a dire emergency. James is stable, and they are transferring him to another facility for the foreseeable future. I feel almost sorry for her. I don't know when I'll be back. I have a lot to deal with and emergency care to plan for.